Good morning. Finally fall. After a week of record-breaking high temperatures, East Central Indiana is met with fall-like weather. Your weekend forecast is just ahead.
Benny turns 80. Our special lady in bronze celebrated a huge milestone. Coming up, a look at her myths and legends.
And caught on camera, one video shows a science icon walking into an impromptu elevator party. How Bill Nye the Science Guy made a joke out of an elevator ride turned awkward.
Get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal weather with Molly, Nathan, Tanner, Emerson, and Kaylee, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
And good morning. You're looking live at the scramble light on our campus of Ball State University. This morning, 50 degrees outside, sunny conditions, beautiful day outside, much cooler than last week. Meanwhile, back inside the Ball State Weather Center, I'm Tanner Holbrook.
And I'm Katie Parker, in for Emerson Lehman. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Waking Up with Cardinal Weather.
And you know, it's such a transition. Last week it felt like we were in Florida. Now it feels like it's kind of the right temperature for this area.
I know, it was actually a little bit chilly. I had to grab a jacket before I went outside.
Yeah, well, here is more information with Ballin. He's got all the local weather for us this morning.
Well, that's for sure. Good morning, you guys. And honestly, it's great to finally see those fall-like temperatures working their way back into central Indiana. Right now, a live look out from the scramble light on campus. We finally some hustle and bustle as students are working their way to class. Throughout the central area, 5-mile visibility down in Richmond. They were earlier down at 2.5 miles of visibility due to some patchy fog, but elsewhere across from Muncie down in McCourtsville, clear conditions, and that's really the story for much of the state apart from northern counties such as Allen County where Fort Wayne is. We're tracking this low pressure system work its way down through Detroit all the way down to northern Indiana. Few possible chances for some isolated showers the farther up north you go, but for much of central Indiana, clear conditions. Right now out the door, temperatures just jumped up to 53 degrees. Winds relatively calm southwest at 6 miles per hour. And elsewhere across the state right now, 50 degrees in Indianapolis, 45 degrees in Shelbyville, and 46 degrees down in Bloomington. And those temperatures have been dropping continuously for the past several days. 7 degrees colder than this time yesterday in Bloomington, 10 degrees colder in Terre Haute, and 7 degrees colder in Shelbyville as well. It's because all that cold air from the northwest is working its way further down to the southeast. And as the day progresses, 57 degrees by the 9 o'clock hour, noontime 70 degrees, then by early dinner time at 5 o'clock, 73 degrees can be expected. And for the forecasted highs throughout the state of Indiana, 78 degrees in Indianapolis and Shelbyville. Terre Haute's going to be the warm one, 80 degrees and 79 degrees down in Bloomington. Taking a look at precision cast, as the day progresses, we'll see patchy clouds work its way in. Now, radar is showing the possibility for an isolated shower or two. I do not believe this is going to be the case. I believe we'll see clear conditions throughout, just showing some moisture in the atmosphere. And as the day progresses, we'll see isolated patchy clouds throughout. But overall, clear to partly cloudy conditions can be expected for today. For the muggy meter, the humidity is going to continue to drop all the way through Sunday as that low pressure drives that moisture out of the area. So expect pleasant conditions overall. For the overnight hours, 44 degrees for the overnight low with relatively calm winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For the weekend forecast, 70 degrees for Saturday, and then working our way into the 7-day forecast. 75 degrees for that forecasted high on Sunday, and rain chances return later on next week. Back to you, Katie.
Thanks, Ballant. Her hand extends to welcome students to her campus, and the chest she holds represents the treasures of education. Now all eyes turn to our beloved bronze statue, Beneficence, as we celebrate Beneficence and her milestone.
Nestled in the heart of campus, Ball State's beloved statue, Beneficence, better known as Benny, turns 80 years old today.
I just like how it looks like an angel, like it's watching over its students.
Finished in 1937, she has become the main icon of the university. Among many meanings, she serves as a reminder to the students and faculty of the generosity of the Ball family. Benny has had many myths and legends that follow her.
If you come here at midnight and kiss your true love in front of her, her wings are supposed to flap in front of you.
Besides her myths and meaning to the university, she also serves another purpose: beautiful scenery next to a place students use to study and relax.
I don't know, something about statues is just very relaxing. It's open, it's just a great place to study.
More than a week has passed since Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, and millions are still without power, and in some areas they're desperate of need of aid. John Lawrence reports.
Devastated and desperate. That's the situation for millions of people in Puerto Rico.
This is no way to live, really. They should bring us water, other supplies, because the kids keep asking.
Most residents are still without power, and many others don't have basic necessities.
You can't get them there overnight because you got to either get them there by boat or you got to get them by plane.
FEMA officials say they have handed out almost 1 million meals so far, but thousands of packages haven't been delivered yet. Stuck on the island's largest port because of a lack of drivers and vehicle fuel.
The frustration of knowing that maybe right now, there's a person in need of medicine. That right now, babies, children don't have a bottle of water. And it's here. It's in Puerto Rico.
On Thursday, the White House authorized a temporary waiver of the Jones Act, which will allow more ships to bring supplies to the island. As for recovery efforts, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers vows to rebuild Puerto Rico's infrastructure, and area hospitals are attending to the sick and injured.
We have to triage patients, we have to triage logistical needs, and we have to prioritize their delivery so that we can make sure that we sustain lives in an achievable, bite-sized way.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Good morning, I am weather forecaster Joe Struess. NOAA has announced that one of the planes in the Hurricane Hunter's fleet, known as Gulfstream 4, will be stuck on the ground for the near future. Nicknamed Gonzo, the plane is designed to fly into hurricanes at extremely high altitudes. Over the past 8 days, the plane has experienced 3 malfunctions which have led to the plane being grounded mid-flight. Critical missions into Hurricane Maria were missed as a result of the malfunctions. Senator Bill Nelson from Florida said that there is no backup to this plane and that it is unacceptable to be in the middle of a hurricane season without a second plane that can perform the same duties. NOAA hopes to have Gulfstream 4 back in the air by the middle of next week.
In the wake of disaster, some special canine friends Miami-Dade County are getting some help. Brandon Byrer reports.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all of our new four-legged friends. Welcome aboard Southwest Airlines flight number K9.
Nearly 3 dozen dogs who found themselves displaced after Hurricane Irma heading to a shelter in Canada. The dogs are from Miami-Dade Animal Services. After Irma, many pets lost their homes.
Because of the influx, we needed to move quickly.
And you can't move faster than a plane. Southwest Airlines needed to get one of their jets to Buffalo, but it wouldn't fly there empty. So it's 30 of these dogs being loaded onto this plane, a Southwest 737. It's the last flight, by the way, being retired after this. But look at these guys, right there in the seat for this flight.
17 years, this is a first, but this is amazing. I jumped at the chance because I love pets.
It's been a rough few weeks for these dogs. Many surrendered when their families evacuated.
They can just expect a lot of baby talk and maybe just a little petting through their kennel.
Now logging some frequent flyer miles and heading to new homes. What's easier, dogs or people?
I love them all. So I'm not gonna answer that. I love them all.
Reporting from Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International Airport, Brandon Byrer, 7 News.
And this might look like a tornado at first glance, but it's actually a dust devil. An employee at a local television station in Tempe spotted it along the side of Interstate 10 recently. The tight spirals of dust and wind are a pretty common sight in Arizona, but they're usually not this big. Rare dust devils have been clocked to have winds as high as 75 miles an hour, which equals an EF0 tornado. Wow, that's crazy.
I know, wow. And coming up, what new brewery opened up in town that you're going to want to check out.
Plus your space news with me, that's after your weather now.
You are looking at Schaeffer Tower right now. It's about 48 degrees here in Muncie, back at 8:10. You're watching Waking Up with Cardinal Weather. Muncie residents now have a new place to grab beer and a book. Cardinal Weather's Michelle Kaufman is live at Books and Brews with more.
Good morning. Welcome to Books and Brews, a new restaurant, brewery, and bookstore located in Muncie just off of White River Boulevard. The facility officially opens today at 11 a.m., but I was able to meet with the owner early this week to discuss his business plan and why he decided to come to Muncie. The floors have been swept, the benches have been built, and the books are stacked. Books and Brews is ready to welcome customers to their third location, a place for people without a place, where all are accepted, appreciated, and encouraged to be themselves.
There's a segment of our population that started with me, who never really felt like they had a place to go where they could be themselves or be social without the sort of oppressive, always present TVs and loud energy.
Woofer wants to invite artists and musicians to practice their craft in his store. They will also host game nights and other weekly events. There are 5 flagship beers that are all named off of book characters or titles.
Do all the beer, do all the scheduling, pretty much oversee all of the whole brewing aspects. Really get to know everybody very well. Pretty much anybody that comes in almost ends up being a regular, and we all know everybody by name, so it's really fun to get to walk into work every day and just see everybody you know.
In Muncie, Michelle Kaufman, Cardinal Weather.
Keeping along with the food trend, the people of Muncie got an exciting new way to dine. The Washington Street Bridge was shut down for drivers, but opened for the very first Muncie Bridge dinner. Cardinal Weather's Mallory Wheel has more.
I hope the bridge will hold us.
More than 600 people filled the Washington Street Bridge for the first annual Muncie Bridge Dinner. 18 organizations came together to host the event with one goal in mind: a new love and appreciation for the city they live in. Local business owner Zane Bishop says an event like this is the perfect way to promote the city.
Muncie doesn't get a good rap, whether it's longtime citizens, visitors, Ball State students, Ball State faculty. So the whole goal of this business is to promote Muncie pride and get people celebrating Muncie instead of talking down about it.
Mayor Dennis Tyler says he hopes this is just the beginning of events to show off the city.
More opportunities to show what a great community Muncie is, more opportunity to show how we're trying to improve our quality of place. You know, we have almost no money invested in this entire project, and you can do little things like this very, very efficiently, but yet you can bring hundreds of people together to really enjoy themselves.
As for more events like this in the future, City Board member Ronnie Johnson says they might need a bigger space.
I hope we can do it again next year with a bigger bridge. We need a bigger bridge.
2 volcanoes are showing signs of erupting on the island of Bali in Indonesia. The island of Ambae is especially of concern in the near term. Over 134,000 people were transported to shelters in Bali as Mount Agung is showing new signs of eruption in the near term. The Vanuatu island of Ambae has completely evacuated, and all of its 11,000 residents have been transported as the local Murano volcano has become increasingly active. Both of these volcanoes are located in the Ring of Fire, and earth science expert Juliet Biggs explains.
The Indonesian authorities have been monitoring Agung, for many years now, but particularly in the last month or so, the number of very small earthquakes has been increasing dramatically. So these are small earthquakes. There's now hundreds per day of them, and the largest ones are the rumbling that people are feeling.
Australia announced its plan to launch its own space agency. While the country is only now getting an agency, Australia has been involved in several important events through space exploration history. In 1967, the nation was one of the first nations to launch a satellite into space. That same decade, a tracking station received and transmitted the first TV images of the first steps taken on the moon by Neil Armstrong. Australia's geographic location would be beneficial to NASA, as it could act as a relay station to satellites that are facing away from their missions. A group of experts has been appointed to create a charter.
And the International Astronomical Congress in Australia, NASA, and the Russian Space Agency announced that they would be teaming up to further deep space exploration. The The organizations hope to push the envelope in putting humans further into space. An early goal of the initiative is to fly humans back into lunar orbit, likely via the new Orion space capsule that was first debuted in 2014 by NASA. While the exact way how these agencies plan to push humans into deep space has not been finalized yet, there are some very promising plans in the works.
The Vice President Mike Pence had the opportunity to talk this week to astronauts aboard the International Space Station. Take a look at what he had to say.
Well, thank you all very much. It's great to be here at the NASA Marshall Flight Center, and it is a particular privilege for me to be able to address all three of you at the International Space Station. Can you describe for an Earth dweller like me what it's like in the early going?
Well, especially at the beginning, it feels a little bit like someone's holding you by your feet upside down for a while.
Thanks for the acrobatics behind you there. That was actually very impressive.
And now here's a look at your weather history. Last week we had record-breaking high temperatures. A completely different story as 66 years ago, areas in Indiana reached below 30 degrees.
Wow.
Angola hit around 28 degrees while Fort Wayne hit 29 degrees, beating them out at 24 degrees in 1951. Fast forward to 1967, where Fort Wayne's coldest September high occurred at 46 degrees.
And you know, guys, it's pretty crazy that, you know, just a few days ago we were sitting at temperatures in the near 90 degrees.
I know.
And then suddenly we're right back to fall temperatures. So seeing that jump in temperatures throughout the past several days, I mean, I'm all for the fall weather, but at the same time, that warm air, it's been wonderful.
Really? I don't like that at all. I'm actually here for the fall weather.
I love the fall weather.
I mean, I think it's hopefully we could finally dig out that apple cider, you know, those fall fashion.
Yep,
flannels,
sweater weather.
The sweater weather, exactly. So I'm all for it, and hopefully it'll swing up around. So.
All right, well, speaking of sweater weather, Joe, are we going to be expecting that anytime soon across the country?
Yeah, let's jump to national weather here. Starting out in the northwest, we have some rain chances coming off the Pacific into Portland and Seattle. We'll see rain chances increase along the west coast, especially down to the south. We'll have some severe weather chances there we'll touch on in a minute. In the Great Plains, we have high pressure sitting here. We're seeing some rain develop from some moisture as a cold front sits across the Great Plains and there's a high pressure to the north. Down to the south, we have some rain in the Dallas area and Oklahoma City. And in the Midwest here in Muncie, we've got dry air, and we're not going to see a lot of rain. As Ballant mentioned earlier, we'll see some rain chances up to the northeast as the day continues. As I mentioned, there is a severe weather chance today in southeast Arizona and southwest New Mexico. In the San Simon and Lordsburg area, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a marginal risk for severe weather for these areas. Best chance of severe weather probably having to do with some extreme winds, some stronger winds with these storms. Bringing it back towards the Midwest now, we have low pressure sitting just north of Detroit, and we have a cold front extending all the way to the northwest. That's going to bring even cooler temperatures to our region tomorrow, and it will also get rid of the uncomfortable mugginess outside, as Ballant mentioned earlier. To the south, we have a cold front situated in Florida. It's going to bring some convection chances there, some rain chances, and possibly some heavier thunderstorms there as we go throughout the day today. Precision cast across the United States brings the rain chances that we were talking about up in the northwest, as well as the convection we were talking about down in Florida throughout the day today. Currently in the nation, it is 46 in Billings, 44 out in Denver, so that cool air that's going to be making its way here is also 48 in Minneapolis. That cold front we showed is going to make its way through the Midwest as we head throughout the day today. Today's highs 76 degrees in Kansas City, 74 in Cincinnati, and a nice warm 89 degrees in Pensacola. That's what's going on in national weather. Let's take it back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Joe. Hey, coming up, we have What's Trending Now. That's all after your weather now.
You're waking up with Cardinal weather.
Back now, 8:21. You're looking live at the College of Health, where that new building will be erected here in the next few months. Excited to see that. It's about 53 degrees outside. Meanwhile, back inside the studio, it is time for Trending Now. And just to mention, it is National Coffee Day.
I know. I am so excited. I've already had my 2 cups today, and I know that you had yours from McDonald's this morning, so we are all celebrating.
Yeah, well, during the Kent State and Louisville game last week, there was a squirrely player on the field. Take a look.
He's gonna do it! Oh my goodness, buddy, do it! Do it! Do it! Touchdown! Oh, man, he's my favorite squirrel. Look at him. Oh, poor guy. He's tired. That's not a very nice celebration. He doesn't work on his...
Just look at the crowd go crazy there. Isn't that hilarious?
I actually saw that on Snapchat.
Oh, you did?
Someone that was at the game. It was so funny.
Well, it's funny, though, because they're actually doing better than Kent State. So, I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
Squirrels are better.
That is so funny. Well, the 2017 Heartland Film Festival is coming up next month, actually, with a screening of a documentary filmed by Ball State students.
Interesting.
Everlasting Light, the story of Indiana's bicentennial torch relay, is part of Indiana's Spotlight series during this year's festival. Everlasting Light showcases the Indiana Office of Tourism Development's bicentennial torch relay project that was held during the fall of 2016. Ball State students worked with the organization to produce daily videos, photos, articles, and social media for the relay. This is the 9th honor the film has received and will screen 3 times during the film festival.
Now, something for all of us, that we would love as elementary students. This is actually so funny. Our favorite science guy, he's back in the news this week after a video surfaced of him walking into an elevator while some ladies were having a mini party. Take a look.
No. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow.
Now, the science guy was unfazed. He even later filmed a parody video about the situation. Take a look at this.
Hey, it's the International Astronautical Congress. Planetary Society's taken over. We'll see you here. We're in Adelaide, Australia.
Isn't that just so funny?
I remember watching Bill Nye the Science Guy all through elementary school, and that's just so funny to see.
I know. I mean, like, how would you feel if you were in an elevator and Bill Nye the Science Guy just walked in? I'd probably freak out.
I would have their exact same emotions.
All right. Well, let's take it over to Ballant. That's a look at what's trending now. Ballant, local weather.
Well, that's right, you guys. Sun's still working its way. Sunrise was just about an hour ago, so that sun's finally starting to come up. Overall, clear conditions throughout Richmond. That did have that 2.5-mile visibility earlier. It's starting to clear up as that sun gets some of that daylight heating in. And really clear conditions through much of the state of Indiana. That low pressure system is still working its way further east into Ohio. So clearer conditions behind that. Live from the Scramble Light, you can see still clear conditions outside, a few people still working their 2 class right now. And then currently out the door, 53 degrees, wind still at 6 miles per hour, and feels right on that 53-degree mark. Throughout the state of Indiana right now, 45 degrees in Shelbyville, 50 in Indianapolis, and Kokomo at 53 degrees as you head out the door to work this morning. As the day progresses, we're going to reach 57 degrees by the 9 o'clock hour, noontime 70 degrees, and by the early dinner time of 5 o'clock, you can expect temperatures to be at 73 degrees with mostly clear skies. For the daily highs today, 77 degrees in Indianapolis, 78 degrees in Shelbyville, and the hot spot today is going to be 80 degrees in Terre Haute. Now, as the day progresses, we'll see partly cloudy conditions set in here. Radar is showing a few isolated showers possible. I don't believe that's going to be the case. So just showing moisture in the atmosphere, so don't expect rain chances by any means. Then as the day progresses, those clouds will clear on out as that low pressure system works its way through. Then for the overnight hours, 44 degrees, and I'll have the full look at weather coming up in a little bit here in just a few minutes.
All right, Ballant, thank you. Well, just after this break, we'll have your pop culture rundown after your weather now. 8:27 on your Friday morning, 53 degrees. You're looking live at Worthen Arena. Such a nice view of that building. Meanwhile, back inside here, it's time for your pop culture rundown.
It is a beautiful morning. Well, Playboy founder Hugh Hefner died on Monday at the age of 91. Hef, as he was called, passed away at his home in Holmby Hills. Hefner was an American icon who created Playboy and built the company into one of the most recognizable American Globe brands in history. He passed away Monday from natural causes, surrounded by loved ones.
I know, it's so sad. Such an icon of, the late 1900s. It's very sad.
Very sad.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, if you're looking for something to do Saturday night, Muncie 3 Trails Music Series is hosting a free concert in downtown Muncie. Recording artist Pokey Lafarge and his band will be performing at 7 p.m. at Cannon Commons. Pokey Lafarge and his band play a mix of Americana, swing, jazz, blues, folk, and country with lyrics telling stories from life in the Midwest. The Muncie 3 Trails Music Series is a nonprofit partnership between Muncie Downtown Development Partnership, Muncie Arts, and the Culture Council.
That is very exciting, and it's supposed to be great weather.
I know,
this weekend,
great weather, weekend full of music. What more can you ask for?
Exactly. And last up in pop culture, we have lots of baby news. Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, and Kylie Jenner are all expecting. How exciting!
Kidding me?
It was all announced in the same week.
It just seemed like we weren't getting enough of the Kardashians as it was. Actually, it seemed like they weren't even in the news, and then all of a sudden, 3 of them are having children.
I know, and three more additions to the Kardashian family. I'm
big
so
clan,
excited.
Bigger clan when they come.
Yes, and also it was announced yesterday that Macklemore's wife Trisha Davis is also pregnant.
Oh, that's nice.
I know.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was in the script.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, Val, let's take a look at your last local weather.
Well, it's pretty chilly outside. You might want to grab a jacket or sweatshirt as you head out the door. Across the state, lower 50s and upper 40s, 45 degrees in Shelbyville, 50 degrees in Indianapolis, and here locally in Muncie, 53 degrees. Now, as the day continues, we're going to work up into the 70s, 9 o'clock hour, 57 degrees, working all the way up to 53 degrees, or 73 degrees, excuse me, by the 5 o'clock hour. Then elsewhere across the state, lower to upper 70s, 79 degrees in Bloomington, and Terre Haute will reach a high of 80 degrees today. Then as the day progresses, clear to mostly cloudy conditions can be expected. Clearing conditions as the day progresses, as that low pressure system works its way through central Indiana. 44 degrees for the overnight low. Winds will remain relatively stable, ranging between 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then for the 7-day forecast, pretty great, honestly. 69 degrees for Saturday, and then Sunday we're going to work up to 75 degrees and sunny. So a beautiful weekend is in store. And then starting next week, we're going to work back into the 80s, sadly. So if you're a fan of that fall weather, you might have to wait another week, it looks like. Then rain chances work their way back into the forecast starting Thursday with a 50% chance of rain on Thursday.
All right, Val, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to the fall weather, not looking forward to the 80s next week. All right, well, that does it for us this morning on a Friday. Thank you for watching Waking Up with Cardinal Weather.
In the meantime, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Have a great rest of your Friday.